Chapter 1, Part 1 of Cedric the Forester. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Lynette Caulkins, Monument, Colorado. Cedric the Forester by Bernard Gay Marshall. Chapter 1. The Siege of Castle Mountjoy. That was a blithe spring morning when the messenger from the king brought to my father the order to join the army at Lincoln for the great expedition into Scotland. 6 armoured knights with their squires and 100 men-at-arms made up the Mountjoy quota, and these my father, liege lord of the domain and loyal subject of the crown, lost no time in bringing together. Messengers, on horseback and afoot, hurried out with his commands, and at the castle we were all in a pretty flurry of making ready. The armourers were hammering and riveting in the courtyard, making a most merry din. The big ox carts lumbered in over the drawbridge, bearing meat and grain for my father's company while on its way to the assembly ground, and for us who were to remain at Mountjoy. And our men in their leathern jackets and hoods, and with their crossbows slung on their backs, were coming in by ones and twos and in groups of half a score. Now my lady mother drew near to father's side as he watched the labour of the armourers, and I, having no will to lose any word of his, came forward also. "My lord," she said, "I would speak with thee where the noise of these hammers will not deafen our ears." My father laughed as one laughs at the sorriest jest when he is gay. "Gadzooks, my lady," he said with a curtsy which my mother says he learned in Italy, and which, try as I may, I cannot copy. "A daughter of the Montmorencys should find in the din of armourers' hammers a music far sweeter than that of the lute or viol." "'Tis well enough," said my mother hurriedly, "and I should sorrow to live where it never was heard. But I have a grave matter upon which to consult thee. Hast thou given thought, my lord, to the castle's defence during thine absence, and that of the best part of our men?" My father's brow became furrowed. I opened my mouth to speak, but mother frowned at me, so I held my peace. Methinks she sometimes thinks of me as not more than a child, forgetting that it was my 15th birthday that we marked at Candlemas. "Some little I have thought of that," began my father. "And indeed, Kate, I would not have thee think I would leave thee unsecured. Marvin, the old crossbowman who attended me through all my campaigns, and whose eye for the homing place of his arrow is, in spite of his years, like that of Robin Hood himself, shall be thy right-hand servitor, and with him 6 good serving-men, who, like him, are of the older day, and unfit for the long marches, but who can handle the crossbow, or, at need, the spear as well as in their best days. These shall be at thy command, and will be ample for these quiet times." "Nay, my lord," she answered quickly, "these days are none so quiet, with the old wolf of Carleton sharpening his fangs for us and ours." "The old wolf hath his summons to the king's banner, as I have mine. Our smaller quarrels must be laid aside while the war is on, and if fortune desert me not, I shall return far higher in the favour of the king than e'er before. It is this very business, well and faithfully done, that shall put an end to Carleton's insolence. The wolf shall snap his jaws in vain. The fat goose of Mountjoy, for which he hungers, shall show itself an eagle with beak and talons." "I hope it may be as thou sayest, my lord. Still, leave us with old Allen, the armourer. He too is past the days of hard campaigns, and thou wilt have the young smith Dickon for thy work in the camp. Allen shall make for us such a store of crossbow bolts as will make old Marvin and his men seem a score in case of need." "As thou wilt, Kate. I had need of old Allen's head far more than his hands, but 'tis true enough he's not the man who followed my father to the wars." Then he turned to me and smiled as on that greeting day of his return from the holy wars. "But, Kate," he cried, "here is the champion of Mountjoy now. We had forgot the chief of our defenders. Mayhap Sir Dickon here, if any seek to do thee harm, will find better marks for his bolts than rooks and hares." I knew that he made a jest of me, for he too hardly knows that I lack but half a foot of being as tall as himself, and that when I am not put about
Sample complete. Ready to continue?